you. Well, good morning, everybody. Okay, breathe, right? Let's stand and sing, Let It Be a Dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Well, let it be a dance. Let a dancing song be heard. Play the music, say the words, and fill the sky with sailing birds. Let it be a dance, let it be a dance, let it be a dance. Learn to follow, learn to lead. Feel the rhythm, feel the need. To reap the harvest, plant the seed. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Everybody turn and spin. Go ahead, do it. Let your body learn to bend. And like the willow with the wind, let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. A child is born, the old must die. A time for joy, a time to cry. Take it as it passes by. But let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Morning star comes out at night. Without the dark there is no light. If nothing's wrong, then nothing's right. So let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let the sun shine, let it rain. Share the laughter, bear the pain. And round we go again. Let it be a dance.
Very, very nice. Thank you. By the way, I have a reaction to the heat. So if it sounds like I have a cold, I don't. I'm just reacting to the dry air. So, and it comes and goes. That's why I know it's not a cold. So. Part of living in Spokane, where the humidity is low enough without the heat. We could just turn the heat off if you guys want to snuggle up. Anyway, you'll just have to pardon me clearing my voice now and then, but good morning, everyone. Great to have all of you here, as always, at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Spokane. where we join together to create a nourishing, liberal religious home and to champion justice, diversity, and environmental stewardship in our wider world, or as we say in short, to create community, find meaning, and work for justice. Welcome, as always, to all of you. We also want to begin by embracing all that you come with, all of your unique beliefs, your background, your lifestyle, your experiences, your differences, all that helps make you who you are is welcome here today. And this includes those of you who are in the room with us, whether you're joining us for the first time or attend regularly, as well as the many of you who are live streaming with us this morning. It's great to have all of you here as well. So thanks to everyone for being here. I don't have any announcements that I know of this morning, except the potluck has been canceled. Despite the fact that I'm not sick, apparently the flu's going around. So they thought it might be best not to interact in that way. So we'll postpone that till next month. Other than that, if you want to risk getting closer to others, you can take a few moments this morning now to greet one another. I guess I don't need to hit that, do I? It still sounds nice. Yeah, I know it sounds nice. We're such creatures of habit, though. It's always nice when I catch myself unnecessarily launching into a habit. Makes me feel advanced. Anyway, more time to greet one another as always during our social period following the service, so please stay around for that, have a cup of coffee. By the way, there's lots of great cookies and brownies and stuff there this morning as well, so be sure and take advantage of that. But we are going to move forward now by lighting our chalice, which is the symbol of our unity and our solidarity, of our openness and our inclusion, of our community and our individual uniqueness. May this small flame be our offering of warmth to those who are cold and alone, and a light to those in darkness. May it be a flame that ignites justice in our world and a beacon of hope to those in need, and may it reflect at least a spark of truth wherever truth has been lost, and cast a healthy shadow of doubt wherever it's been found.
I Our opening reflection is adapted from my poem, which appears in my book, Paper Boat, which was just recently published. It is one aspect of letting go, which is the theme of Todd's sermon this morning. Letting go. The petals of a bud must let go and release themselves into blossom, just as we humans must release ourselves from our own self-induced restraints, letting go into self-forgiveness and awareness. To begin, once again, we must let go of the held breath and the fears of ambiguity. We must befriend uncertainty.
Okay, let's stand again and sing together, We Shall Overcome, which is 169 in your book there, for those of you who like to have the physical book. Okay.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we'll walk hand in hand someday. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall live in peace someday. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday.
Thank you. So it's a wonderful song. It's sad that we still have to sing it, and that when we do sing it, we mean it, you know. I continue to be stunned, that almost everyone on the planet knows how we're supposed to treat each other. Right? We're born with that instinct just in our bodies that I know what feels good to me, I know what hurts me, therefore I shouldn't do that to others. And yet so many at least find excuses to circumvent that, to justify not doing what we should. So we have to have these candles of care on Sundays where I get up each Sunday and say the same thing. We're lighting a candle for the people of Ukraine and the people of Russia and that region of the world suffering from the violence there, for the people of Palestine and Israel, and Iran suffering from violence there, from the frightened immigrants in our country, the people of Darfur, South Sudan, our neighbors in Greenland now, and who fear perhaps being invaded, the American citizens being treated like enemies of the state. At the very same time, our president is threatening to bomb Iran for harming its citizens. I mean, it's just unbelievable. So, it's a beautiful song, but I think when it was written back in the 60s, that Pete Seeger was probably thinking maybe we'd be beyond this at this point. Let's hope so, soon. Anyway, I've said enough. I'll be quiet, and if there's others on your mind that you'd like to kindle a candle for this morning, you're welcome to name them aloud. Those named aloud and those embraced in our silence, and all those who are suffering in our world at this hour, we hold in our community with compassion. This is our third Sunday of the month. We do have a special collection. So if you, when the offering comes by, if you want to contribute, you can use the special collection envelope and put that in the basket. We'd appreciate it. You don't have to seal it, but this month's special collection is on behalf of NAMI, National Association for Mental Illness, NAMI Spokane. There's a branch of it here. And this is, I think a lot of you know, it's something we've supported many times over the years. It helps individuals living with mental illness and other health conditions in a variety of ways. They provide community resources, they provide guidance, support, and connections to individuals who often don't have them. And the wonderful thing about this organization is the great percentage of its staff and employees and volunteers are folks who have been there. So they know what they're doing, and they know how to help, and they know what folks need. So it's a great way to share our support for a worthy cause in our community. So we now gratefully give and receive this morning's offering, which helps sustain this community and obviously our mission to the larger world.
Thank you, Jackie. Good morning. It is the third Sunday of the month, and if you're just joining us for the first time, that means it's Reading Across the Lifespan Sunday, where we celebrate the miracle of reading and the joy of books, particularly in RE, but hopefully for all of us. So I have a story to share with you, and it wasn't until after I wrote it and read it over and over again that I realized it's a teeny tiny bit autobiographical. But not just with the main character, with all of the characters. And I think it might be for you too, if you just want to insert your own name. So here we go. There once was a girl named Clara who was 8 years old, almost 9, and she was very good at paying attention. She paid attention in school. She paid attention when adults talked. She paid attention to things her friends said. She paid attention to her parents. She paid attention to rules and instructions, and especially to things people said she should do. Clara liked doing the right thing. She lined up her shoes by the door. She made her bed in the morning. She closed the drawers and cabinet doors that she opened. She remembered to say please and thank you. She even mostly did her daily chores without having to be reminded. When Clara wasn't busy with such matters of consequences, she really liked to read books. At least she thought she did. The trouble was, Clara was surrounded by people who cared very much about what she read. Her favorite teacher leaned down one day and said, "You're an advanced reader, Clara. You really should choose books in the 800 lexile range to offer you the right challenge for comprehension and skill growth in speed and accuracy." Clara nodded. Her loving grandmother smiled and handed her a beautiful classic and said, "This was my favorite when I was your age. You really should read it too." Clara nodded. At church, someone knelt down beside her and whispered kindly, "Be careful about reading what you shouldn't. You really should read books that teach you important lessons." Clara nodded. At the library, a well-meaning grown-up glanced at her pile and said, "Oh, you don't want that one. You really should try this one instead." Clara nodded. She always nodded. She carried her books carefully. She stacked them neatly. She even opened them each night and turned a few pages. But something strange was happening. The more people told Clara what she should read, the harder it was to feel excited about reading at all. She wasn't being rebellious. She wasn't being stubborn. She was trying very hard to be good. Still, when she lay in bed at night, surrounded by books chosen by everyone else, her eyes drifted to the corner of her room, where one small, dog-eared book waited quietly on the shelf. The one no one had suggested, the one no one had noticed, the one she hadn't been told she really should read. Clara knew exactly which book it was. She had found it months ago, almost by accident, at the library. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't on a display table. No one had recommended it. But when Clara picked it up, something small and warm had stirred inside her chest. She hadn't known what to call that feeling at the time, so she had put the book back on the shelf. Now, lying in bed, she felt that same warm flutter again. It wasn't a loud voice. It didn't say award-winning or bestseller or classic. It didn't say important or challenging or good for you. It didn't say should. It was a quiet voice, a curious voice. It simply asked, what happens next? Clara slipped out of bed and reached for the dog-eared book. She told herself she would just read one page, just to see. But one page became two, and two became a chapter. And before she knew it, Clara was no longer thinking about reading at all. She was inside the story. The room disappeared. The list of rules disappeared. Even the word should disappeared. For the first time in a long while, reading didn't feel like something she was trying to do correctly. She wasn't doing it for a score or to impress someone or because someone else said you really should. It felt like something she was doing happily. The next morning, Clara packed her backpack carefully. She still carried the books everyone had given her. She still listened politely. She still nodded. But tucked between the others was the small dog-eared book. Clara didn't explain. She didn't argue. She didn't make a speech. She didn't need to, because Clara had learned something important, something no one told her. She had learned that her own quiet voice mattered, that curiosity could be trusted, and that choosing for herself didn't mean having to choose perfectly. There are many good books in the world, and many good reasons to read. But the book that turns you into a reader is the one you choose by listening to what makes you curious. Sometimes that choice leads to a favorite. Sometimes it doesn't. And even then, you've learned something important.
It is now time for meditation, so I invite you to close your eyes, find a comfortable, receptive position, take a few deep breaths, and we will enter the silence with these words from the poet Linda Paston. Interlude. We are waiting for snow the way we might wait for a train to arrive with its cold cargo. It is late already, but surely it will come. We are waiting for snow the way we might wait for permission to breathe again. For only the snow will release us. Only the snow will be a letting go, a blind falling towards the body of earth and towards each other. And while we wait at this window, whose sheer transparency is clouded already with our mutual breath, it is as if our whole lives depended on the freezing color of the sky, on the white, soon-to-be fractured gaze of winter.
start. Live your story, faith, hope, and glory. Hold to the truth in your heart. Well, if we hold on together, I know our dreams will never die. Dreams see us through to forever, where clouds roll by. For you and I, souls in the wind must learn how to bend. Seek out a star, hold on in the end. Valley, mountain, there is a fountain, washes our tears all the way. Worlds are swaying, someone is praying, please let us come home to stay. If we hold on together, I know our dreams will never die. Dreams see us through to forever, where clouds roll by. For you and I, when we are out there in the dark, we'll dream about the sun. In the dark, we'll feel the light warm our hearts, everyone. If we hold on together, I know our dreams will never die. Dreams see us through to forever, as high as souls can fly. The clouds roll by. For you and
Thank you so much. I cannot top that. That is beautiful. Thank you both. Damn it, I brought the wrong sermon. I hate to disappoint you, but my dear colleague, Reverend Craig Morrow, is not going to be speaking this morning. He spoke last week. So for those of you in the room and those who are live streaming with us, you're going to have to put up with me. My sermon is actually titled Getting a Grip and Letting Go, which seems pretty fitting right now. So In fact, Todd, if you want, you can maybe get rid of that sermon title. So, thank you, sir. There we go. That looks better. I don't know what that is, but to begin, among the most valuable lessons learned during my ministerial training is the importance of being a non-anxious presence when I'm with those, especially with those who are in dire circumstances, like a devastating accident, a fatal diagnosis, or a sudden and unexpected death of a loved one. Our instinct is to try saying or doing something helpful. But under such circumstances, there's nothing that we can do or say to make the trauma of the moment go away. And attempts to do so often only make matters worse. They're in a better place now. This too shall pass. The Lord works in mysterious ways. These can feel like daggers to those who are experiencing loss and grief. Well-meaning as our intentions might be, what we're really telling them is that we don't want them to feel sad or angry or hurt or whatever difficult emotions they're having. Telling a person diagnosed with a terminal condition that they ought to remain positive and hopeful may sound like it's helpful, but if we're not honest with them about what's happening and what they know is happening, then it means they have to go through it alone, which makes their dying all the worse. It's better just to say, I'm sorry, and I can't imagine what you're going through. I'm sorry, I can't imagine what you're going through. These statements are honest, and they only express what we're feeling without judgment or denial about what the aggrieved are experiencing. It's about them, after all, not me, not my discomfort, not my pointless wish to make all their pain go away. Whatever else might be true, the pain is real, and it's overwhelming, and they have to go through it for as long as necessary. Understanding this is key to understanding non-anxious presence. Knowing that we have entered into a traumatic and tragic situation and there's nothing that we can do or say to make it better. Yet as friends, as family, as a minister, we must and want to be there for those who are going through some of the worst circumstances in their lives. But in doing so, we knowingly enter into a space where we are helpless and vulnerable, becoming what feels like a pointless lump on a log. And to be a non-anxious presence, they need us to be. However, this means accepting that we are helpless and must resist the urge to do something to ease their pain. And it is only then that our presence, paradoxically, becomes meaningful and helpful. A steady, quiet presence who is there, if needed, there to listen, mostly there to bear witness to the pain and the grief that others are experiencing, showing them that they are not alone, while having said little more than, I'm sorry, I can't imagine what you're going through. I'm even hesitant to say, I'm here if you need me, or let me know if there's something I can do, which again suggests that I have the ability to make things better and puts the burden on them to reach out to me. That is, to make me feel useful and therefore better. But again, it's not about me. A 39-year-old suffers a fatal heart attack A father and his 2 children are killed by a drunk driver. A man my age is given only months to live after being diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. A woman feeling a little off soon discovers she'll be dead within weeks. A child drowns, another commits suicide, another's killed on a motorcycle. A 6-month-old fatally falls off the bed. These are some of the worst circumstances that I've been present for as a minister. And though they were never about me, there's a cumulative impact of being in the midst of such pain and grief that lingers with me always, becomes part of my experience. As a minister, I've also tried to remain a non-anxious presence for our congregation as a whole. Talk about cumulative impacts. There were 14 deaths in our church during my first year here, due to age, illness, accidents, 2 within my first week. It felt similar these past year when so many of our matriarchs and our patriarchs have left us, some only weeks apart. That much death has a terrible toll on a community. We faced other difficulties together. The election of Donald Trump in 2016, a major church conflict in 2019, and the return of Donald Trump in 2024. Through it all, I've worked to remain a non-anxious presence, even though inwardly I felt much anxiety over these events, as much as anyone else, sometimes more. The secret to this, as the saying goes, is to accept the things that I cannot change. I cannot heal the sick. I cannot raise the dead. I cannot go back in time and prevent tragedies. Nor can I fix the emotions of others, even though this isn't as obvious as our inability to perform miracles in time travel. Right? Sometimes we think that we can fix the emotions of others. So in addition to accepting that there are things we cannot change, we must face the circumstances and challenges before us. We cannot change who the president is, no matter how much we disagree with his actions and policies, nor how much they are impacting our lives and the lives of others. We cannot force the Congress, the Senate, the Supreme Court to uphold the Constitution that they are sworn to defend. We cannot avoid the chaos that this administration is causing in our country and around the world. We cannot know when or even if it will end, nor what damage will be left in the aftermath of this socio-political storm. Yet this is the collective trauma of our time, especially as liberals. And it feels as if democracy itself has been in a terrible accident, is now in critical condition, and we don't know if it will live or die. Many of us are in shock, fearful of the worst, and already grieving the loss of the society and the world we once believed would always be with us. My advice, again, is to let those feelings be. Lean into them. They will come, and they will go, and they will come, and they will go again and again. Trying to control our feelings is like standing on the ocean shore and trying not to get wet. The waves move in and out of their own accord. They wash over us, they overwhelm us, then they recede for a time before returning again. Better to accept them, knowing only that they will eventually subside with the changing of the tide. Among the most surprising emotions for those in grief are the waves of joy and laughter that come. And sometimes no feelings at all, as if everything feels entirely normal when it's not supposed to. These confusing moments can compound the situation with additional feelings of guilt. How can I feel happy? How can I feel nothing at a time like this? The same is true for us as a society, especially again for the liberal-minded, who greatly value the principles upon which our democracy is founded, in perfect union as it has always been. For much of the time since first announcing his candidacy in 2015, Donald Trump has been the main headline in our lives, almost daily. It's as if we've been stuck in an unending reality TV show whose star is working to create as much upheaval, suffering, and chaos as possible. After 11 years of it, we're extremely fatigued by this barrage of daily and disturbing headlines. We can try avoiding them for a while, but we can't really escape the reality that we're in. Eventually, we have to face what's happening. We have to acknowledge that this isn't just a show. And when we do, we're better able to allow the difficult emotions to come and to go, while also continuing to live and to do what we must, sometimes feeling like everything is completely normal. Again, we can't control which emotions come over us, nor do much to change the reality that we're in. But we can control our response to those emotions and how we react to our circumstances. Anger doesn't mean that we have to lash out at others. Grief doesn't mean that we have to disappear into depression. Facing reality doesn't mean that we have to simply accept the way things are and can't work to make things better. We can control our attitude to some extent. We can control our actions and reactions regarding our feelings or what we're feeling. We can do what we can to support our loved ones and our friends and to serve the grander purposes of our community, of society, of life itself. We can still do all that. Rather than protesting against what we dislike, we can demonstrate those values that we do believe in. When someone loses control, we might tell them, get a grip. What I'm saying here is that to get a grip, we need to let go. We need to let go of our desire to control and change our circumstances. But letting go does not mean giving up. Quite the opposite. It means facing what is before us, going through it, standing strong and moving forward as best we can. The American bison, often called buffalo, are a magnificent example. These powerful creatures with these just enormous heads and these broad shoulders. If you ever notice, they have bodies that taper off into almost nothing from behind compared to what's ahead. All that size and weight and force that's up front, as if they are built to face what's ahead, to face life. In fact, it's well known that instead of turning away from storms, buffalo, including powerful blizzards, by the way, buffalo will head directly into them, knowing that by doing so they're going to get through them a lot faster than by attempting to avoid them. This again is what it means to be a non-anxious presence, accepting the things we cannot change and facing the circumstances, the challenges, the realities before us nonetheless. This practice of getting a grip by letting go, of moving into the storm instead of away from it, of facing reality and accepting what we cannot change is also central to most of humanity's religions. Among Judaism's 10 Commandments, for example, is the command to remember the Sabbath. Remember the Sabbath day, to keep it holy. On it you shall not do any work, neither you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male or female servant, nor your animals, not any foreigners residing in your town. Everybody needs to rest. That's what the Hebrew word Sabbat really means, to rest. In February, I'll be taking a month-long sabbatical, which obviously comes from this very same word. Some have asked me, well, where are you going to go? What are you going to do? I'm going nowhere, and I'm doing nothing, because that's what a sabbatical is for, which is why I prefer rest like the earth in the coldest and darkest time of the year. In Taoism, it's Wu Wei, which means doing nothing. And it's similar to Sabbat. Sitting quietly, doing nothing, spring comes and the grass grows by itself, according to an old Chinese proverb. In fact, the Chinese pictograph for busy is symbolized by 2 characters that mean heart and killing. Right? Being busy is heart killing. But practice not doing, practice Wu Wei, practice not doing, and everything will fall into place, the Tao Te Ching tells us. Fill your bowl to the brim, and it will spill. Keep sharpening your knife, and it will blunt. Tao never acts, yet nothing is left undone. The Christian idea of grace is another great example of this principle, the notion that there's nothing that we can do or need to do to be saved. Look at the birds of the air, Jesus is reported to have said. Consider the lilies of the field. The birds do not sow, harvest, or store away, yet they are fed. The flowers do not toil or spin, yet they are clothed. Yet even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one such as these. There are other examples, including ancient myths about the necessity of winter, those cold, dark months when even the earth rests, and our own need to rest alongside her. But I most prefer the way this principle is treated by Stoic philosophy. The ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus began his handbook with the simple phrase, "Of all existing things, some are in our power, and others are not in our power." This is referred to as the dichotomy of control, which may seem obvious. But what isn't obvious is knowing the difference between what is within our power and what is not. It's easy to get them confused. But by acknowledging this dichotomy, it requires us to distinguish the difference, because too often we tend to obsess about the things we cannot change while ignoring the things that we can. And this is a significant point because it can mean the difference between being an anxious or non-anxious presence for others and for ourselves, not only in the lives of others, but in our own everyday lives. It doesn't make a lot of sense worrying about matters that we can do nothing about, especially when such worry distracts us from doing what we can. I'm sure you're familiar with Loren Elsley's famous anecdote from his 1969 essay, The Star Thrower. An old man walking on the beach notices a boy throwing washed-up starfish back into the sea before they're dried up by the heat of the sun. But the beach goes on for miles and miles, he tells the child. There are thousands of starfish stranded here. You'll never be able to make a difference. I made a difference to that one, the child said. If we only notice all that overwhelms us and is out of our control, then we miss the opportunities to make a difference where we can. We all know, of course, the serenity prayer attributed to theologian Richard Niebuhr. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This is a favorite saying in AA and among Stoics because it addresses the dichotomy of control that all of us face. But the real trick is knowing the difference, the wisdom to know the difference. The old man on the beach doesn't understand that not having the power to save all the starfish on the beach doesn't prevent him from saving some. The boy, on the other hand, only sees what he can do. The thought of saving all the starfish has never crossed his mind because it's not in his power to begin with. So he's perfectly happy to do what he can. Contemporary Stoic philosopher William Irvine compounds the problem by reminding us it's not just a dichotomy of control, it's really a trichotomy of control. For, as he says, there are things over which we have complete control, things over which we have no control at all, and things over which we have some, but not complete control. We have no control over who wins an election. We have complete control over who we vote for. So there's no sense worrying about either of those. So let go of what we can't control and what we are able to control. What we ought to most concentrate on, or energy on rather, are those matters that we have some but not complete control over. We may not control who gets elected, for example, but we can volunteer for a particular candidate or participate in a public awareness campaign or a get out the vote campaign. No guarantee, but we have some control. The goal of the Stoics, Irvin says, was not to change the world, but to do their best to change the world. And I'll compound Epictetus' original dichotomy of control even further by adding a fourth component. There are some things in our power to control that we should not control. Namely, the emotions, the thoughts, and the decisions of other people. This is to say that we should not force our wills upon the wills of others. Why? Because from a humanistic position, it's unethical. Using others as a means to our own ends rather than respecting their freedom and autonomy as individuals who have a right to choose and pursue their own ends. So don't ruin the lives of others just to get our own way. And this goes back to where we began, being a non-anxious presence. If we respect others, we have no need to change or control their emotions, nor to prevent them from facing the storm that they must walk through. While it is within our power, what is within our power, and thus our arena of responsibility, however, is to simply be present with them. Even if, again, it is only to bear witness with what they are going through so that they know they are not alone. To be a non-anxious presence in an anxious world is not to be passive or indifferent. It is to stand steady in the storm, neither denying its power nor being overpowered by it. It is to face what is real, do what we can, and let the rest go. Thank you. Thank you.
So in light of letting go, we're going to bring back this song as our last hymnal. Let's go fly a kite. Please stand. With tuppence for paper and strings, you can have your own set of wings. With your feet on the ground, you're a bird in a flight. With your fist holding tight to the string of your kite. Oh, let's go fly a kite up to the highest height. Let's go fly a kite and send it soaring up through the atmosphere, up where the air is clear. Oh, let's go fly a kite. So when you send it flying up there, all at once you're lighter than air. You can dance on the breeze over houses and trees. With your fist holding tight to the string of your kite. Oh, let's go fly a kite up to the highest height. Let's go fly a kite and send it soaring up through the atmosphere, up where the air is clear. Oh, let's go fly a kite.
Our benediction is from Harold Laux. An act of love that fails is just as much a part of the divine life as an act of love that succeeds, for love is measured by its own fullness, not by its reception. Amen, blessed be, salam aleikum, and shalom.